welcome to another episode of the all-new TTown 411 Report. I'm your host, Darren McKinstry. We're broadcasting live from McKinstry Banquet Hall, located at 5480 Jug Factory Road here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's a special place for special people for all special occasions. We're also broadcasting on our community conversations page for those that want to chime in through that. And we're broadcasting live also on Sound Booth Radio 106.1 with my good friend, Mike. Tell them how can they chime in on Sound Booth Radio, Sound Booth TV, and YouTube, Sound Booth TV, YouTube.
Sure thing, Daryl. Check us out on the radio side of Sound Booth Radio. Just go to the iOS or your Google Play Store. And once you download that app, then and download the Live 365. Side, Sound Booth Radio. You check us out on the video side. Go to Facebook, type in Mike K. Wilson, Sound Booth Radio, or you can go to YouTube. And once you go to YouTube, type in, and that'll get you on with us on Sound Booth TV.
Well, each and every week, of course, every Tuesday and Thursday, we bring this program to the community. Letting people know different things what's going on in our community right here in Tuscaloosa, as well as in the city, as well as in the state and throughout the nation. I want to just thank everyone that's chimed in. Our good friend Veronica Taylor has chimed in with us. Veronica, if you want to give us the COVID update, go ahead and give us the COVID update right quick.
Okay, let me see. Well, COVID update for today, y'all. They didn't update on yesterday. I don't know if they're going to go to every day or if they were just late today. But first and foremost, I want to say prayers to President Joe Biden, who tested positive today. So we're praying for him to complete and speedy recovery. But as far as Tuscaloosa and DCH Health Systems, as of today, so they did update today, which is Thursday. They didn't update yesterday. May have been late, or maybe they're going to a different format. But it says that there are 37 inpatients within the DCH systems positive for COVID-19. Inpatients positive for COVID-19 are being treated in ICU. 5 or fewer patients positive for COVID-19 are on ventilators. 56.8% are fully vaccinated. 43.2% are unvaccinated or not fully vaccinated. Per the Department of Alabama Department of Public Health, Tuscaloosa is in the medium range for community levels. So they use these community levels to have people to decide, what they need to do as far as social distancing, masking, clubbing, events, and things like that, which is suggested by the CDC. And anybody, if you're going to be in an area with, high traffic areas, that you wear your mask. As far as the community transmission, the rate of transmission level, Tuscaloosa County and all counties in Alabama are at a high risk. So y'all protect yourselves. Every county in Alabama was in red as far as the transmission levels.
And we're beginning to see more and more people now getting back on the ventilators in ICU and the BiPAP. So, alrighty. We do have a guest coming on the program. Before we get to our guest and before we do anything, we always like to pray. And if you all would just done a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to come on the airways. Thank you for watching over us this day. Heavenly Father, right now we're asking that you continue to look over us and our families as this storm come through. Heavenly Father, we're asking that you continue to watch over all our families and friends. Heavenly Father, we're asking that you continue to look over all the essential workers, all our doctors and nurses, teachers, reception, laundry department, housekeeping department, nursing home staff, everyone, Heavenly Father, we're asking that you continue to look over them. We're praying for our elderly in the nursing home. Continue to look over them also. Right now, Heavenly Father, we're asking that you go with the bereavement families as they going through the loss of a loved one. We're asking that you continue to let them know that you're in charge and your will has been done. Heavenly Father, right now, we ask that you continue to heal those that are in the hospital. We're asking for your healing hand. Right now, we're asking that you continue to look over all our government officials, our presidents, our vice president, our governors, our mayors, all our pastors and community commissioners and council people. We're praying for each and every one of them also, Heavenly Father. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, we're praying for everybody that's on this program. Thank y'all for joining in on the program. Hello, Marcus said good morning. Good evening, Marcus. How you doing? Linda Millhouse, Tina Sanders, and all the other people. Thelma Stevenson. Got an interesting topic tonight. But before we get to the topic, we do have an announcement we want to go ahead and do. And also, before we get to the announcements, let's give our disclaimer. Our disclaimer, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. And I also like to add in the fact that the opinions expressed in this presentation are my personal opinions and must not be construed as representing the opinion of any institution with which I am or have been affiliated in my professional life. And that goes for Mike and that goes for Teresa and anyone that calls in on the program. You're not representing any organization or program that you work for. That these are your personal opinions, and I just want to make sure we get that out there. Also, some people be scared to call in because they think they're gonna lose their job because they have a opinion about something. You're not gonna lose your job. Yes, people do chime in from Facebook on Facebook to see what we're talking about and see if we're talking about them, but we hopefully won't nobody lose a job behind chiming in talking to Lil Mike and Lil Darren and Lil Veronica.
Daryl, you won't believe it because this program is shared out. So
I understand.
It's on the YouTube. It's that YouTube thing. It's this program. You people think Facebook something else. Mm-hmm. It's that YouTube and these other ones. Yeah, it can cause a lot of confusion for people. Okay. Sadly, it's almost like your freedom of speech is restricted. Yes. Because a job can say can say that they're several times with you for whatever reason, but you as a person would know.
And like she said, they listening though. Oh, Lala said they listen. I don't know why Lala show up on one of mine. It shows up as Facebook user, and then on the other one it shows her other name. I had to go to find out who that is. But yeah, Lala, they do listen on us. But we do have a guest on the program tonight, and we're talking about the upcoming Gospel Explosion. Is that correct, Mike?
That's correct.
I'm gonna let you introduce our guest for tonight, right quick. We do have other conversation, but we want to talk about this upcoming event. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, yeah, we're having well, she's putting on a gospel explosion here in Tuscaloosa. I think they just changed the location of it. But I'll let her tell you a little bit more about it. I'd like to welcome to the show Miss Joya Venus Franks. How you doing?
Okay, I'm back on.
Okay, you there?
I'm here now. I'm sorry. Okay. My service is kind of off.
Okay, go ahead. We got you now. Go ahead.
Thank y'all for having me on the show today. Thank you, Mike, for even asking me. For the Gospel Explosion 2022, it'll be here in it'll be here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, at the Bobby Miller Center, September 25th. I am putting this event together for local artists that does gospel as well, but I just wanted to hold on because my little girl in the camera.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I put this event together because I feel like the city needed something different versus what they see on a daily basis. Can't.
Everybody want to be a star.
Right. For this event, I do have artists, local singers, gospel groups, people from Birmingham, Brent, Alabama, Selma, Alabama, coming to the Gospel Explosion, as well as a few vendors. The reason for the Gospel Explosion is to also shine light on the positive things in town from all the people that's active around town, trying to be active with the kids and and thus forth. Sorry. Yes, ma'am. Right now, I'm still looking for youth choirs, youth praise dancers, Candace. youth praise dancers, sponsorships more so, and with the sponsorship package deal for a promotion once a week, well, once a day on social media, and at the event, it'll be $50 for it to be promoted 4 times out the week throughout the day. It'll be a total of not 500, $100. Also a promotion deal, a promo and a slide at the Gospel Explosion. For VIP, it'll be a total of 300 with social media and as well as branding, ambassadoring for the rest of the year in any events that I do have going from this day forward. Can you please stop? I'm so sorry, y'all.
That's okay.
Um, for anybody that does want to be a part of the event, you can email me at Midas Touch LLC. That's MYDASTOUCHLLC@gmail.com. I'm so sorry.
And once again, the way to get in contact with you is by email or phone number. And that phone number, what, 205-499-2468?
Yes, sir.
And I think you said My Dash Touch
Midas
LLC.
Touch.
Midas
Midas
Touch.
Touch.
Okay,
Yes,
Midas
sir.
Touch at gmail.com. That's
Yes, sir.
MYDASTOUCHLLC at gmail.com.
Yes,
So
sir.
so was it any particular reason you decided to take it from an outside event to an inside event?
Well, I wanted it to be outside just for the public, but due to the location and also other reasons, I just wanted to have it on the inside, in case of bad weather as well.
Okay, okay. Makes sense, makes sense. Well,
You want to tell them, make sure everybody knows the date and the times once again.
The
For
event
the gospel
is
explosion.
it's September 25th, 3 to 7 at the Bobby Miller Activity Center.
and is this a free event or is it a cost to it?
Well, the cost to get in now is 15, but for seniors it's $5.
$5 for seniors and 15 for general admission. Okay,
Yes, sir. I also have a special performance as well in honor of domestic violence.
great, great. And September is Domestic Violence Month, if I'm not mistaken, isn't
The
it?
month of October, the following month.
The following month. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Well, sound like you got a great plan for a great evening of gospel. This is the Black Belt, so we all always looking for a reason to shine the light on the gospel. So that's a great opportunity for everyone to come out and enjoy some. How can people get tickets?
You can. I have to actually set the link up because I had to get everything in order. But I'll have the link and everything. I'll post it in the comment section once I get it set up. But I also have it on my Facebook page in the pin post up top. But it'll be through Eventbrite, and you can also cash out the Midas Touch LLC through Cash App, or you can make a donation.
Okay. Well, anyone that has questions, you can call in 310-6067. That's 205-310-6067 or 205-826-7661. Anyone that has question, one person that already asked about how can they get the flyer to help share that with you. So that was Miss Lala Marie. Lisa Young said she wanted to share it for you. So if
Okay.
anyone have questions for this, I'm sorry, what's your last name again? I'm sorry.
France. It's
Miss
Joy of France, but I go by Venus, which is my model name.
Okay,
Yes,
Miss
sir.
France. So anyone has questions for Miss France, you can call in right now, 205-310-6067 or 205-826-7661. What gave you the idea of doing a gospel explosion? I mean, what brought it on? Anything particular, or uh,
Um,
what touched your
well,
heart?
what I it'll sound crazy because so many people use it as a way of, I don't know, just sometimes touching other people, but it really came to me like in a vision. Like God showed me the vision. I didn't understand it at first. It was after I had went live with this gospel singer that will be performing at the Gospel Explosion, which is Maquita Kiki Smith. After going live, after she performed on my podcast, it was kind of, I was like at a standstill, didn't know exactly like what I was feeling, and I was like, I gotta do something. Like it's something is caught pulling on me to do this, to do something, but I couldn't really figure it out. So as we sit outside in nature, it just came to me, a gospel explosion, because I think at that time Tuscaloosa was going, like, still a lot going on, but at that time it was a lot going on from a lot of people passing away, a lot of youth passing away due to gun violence.
Mm-hmm.
And we it's so used to, we get on social media every day and hear about people passing away, and you hear about the youth being behind everything, and it's like, okay, well, we can show them something different. It may not touch all, but we can touch a few by just showing them that it's okay to praise and worship God no matter where you are. I wanted to have it outside, but I also wanted to have a backup plan just in case the weather did turn bad.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. That's good. And I'm glad you're doing this, because a lot of time people have a vision or been touched to do something, and they fail to follow that
That
thing,
call,
that
yeah.
calling. I guess that's the word. That calling of doing what you're supposed to do, regardless if it's
Hmm.
100 people or 100 people. I mean,
Hmm.
100 people or one person. As
Right.
long as you follow through with it, I think it's necessary. And I'm glad to hear that you're doing this.
Thank you. I
You know,
appreciate it.
Venus is one of the hardest working women I've ever met.
Okay.
She has something going on every um, I was every time I
There
look around, she got going on.
something going
She's a
on.
model. She's a singer. She does hair.
Okay.
Um, so she's over there at
K-Ball
K-Ball
style.
Styles,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know the address right
And
offhand. So forgive me for that.
it's 2725 Greensboro Avenue,
Okay.
next to Fantasy Tax Service.
Okay. So this is a. I heard her say something about her podcast. So you have your own podcast also.
Yes, sir. I actually took a break from the podcast for a while just to have a mental break from everything because I've been so busy. But it's called Creative Sunday, and I'll have it back up and running on YouTube starting August 7th.
Okay. Well, great,
Mhm.
great, great.
So yeah, so she as long as some of her other friends, which
Uh,
on it K-Ball Styles.
yes,
They're constantly doing things. She's been planning this particular gospel explosion out. I know that I've known about it since um
it's been
like
months.
April. When it was like April.
Yeah, it was back in
Yeah,
probably April, May, one of them.
yeah, April and May. She has been and she's been planning. She's been working at it the whole entire time, and it's going on in September. So there you know that it's not something that she's just trying to throw together. Just
Right.
really
I
didn't.
want
You know what
to be
I'm saying? She
professional
putting
and in
forth all
order.
the efforts and having contingency plans and everything. We hope that it's a very big success. A gospel explosion. Usually when you have any kind of singing, it is always something that's uplifting. You feel good when you leave. I know
Mm-hmm.
I do. Personally, when I go to any singing, I feel good. And I can't sing a lick. So
Like I tell people all the time, that singing in the church it makes you feel all emotional on the inside. You know,
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
the words just kind of touch you some kind of shape, form, or fashion.
absolutely, absolutely. I guess if you are a part of a church, and you have a awesome choir that you want, think they can come out there and tear it up, you should get in touch
Yes.
with Miss Venus,
Yes.
and
All are
the
welcome.
Mighty Steps LLC. I'm sure she'll be more than happy to have you involved in that. If you got a youth choir, or if you got a gospel group that you perform with, they love to have you. So
Mm-hmm.
we like to see everybody out there.
Well, maybe what hey, some of these big five churches, that still doing the choirs and stuff. So maybe you want to invite some of them and see if they want to come out and participate. Of course, a lot of churches follow their members, so that's one avenue of doing that. So like,
And,
well,
and perhaps Venus, you can ask Daryl if he want to perform, because
I do sometime, but I'm not sure as I'm ready to get back on stage. Lately I had.
Well, you got time. You got 2 months. You got
We'll
2 months
see.
to
We'll
warm up.
see. They used to call me in church. Matter of fact, Barbara Bates used to call me Lee Williams at church. So, we'll see.
They would
Patricia
love
said
to see you.
she said one lady said she wish you much success. So a
Thank
lot of
you.
people, as soon as closer it get to the program, we'll keep letting people know about it. And if you got any commercials or anything, just let us know. We'll place it on the program for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome to stay on board with us. I think a lot of people want to talk about this reality of television show conversation that we're going to be talking about, P Valley and the Shy. I'm not
Oh,
sure if you I'm not sure if you familiar with those two shows.
I'm familiar with P Valley. I haven't really watched
yeah,
The Shy. I've been seeing
everybody know
advertising,
about P Valley.
Oh man, okay. So
but I
look,
have.
I had to personally take the time and catch up on P Valley because I was way behind. I didn't know anything about it till one of my aunts came over for the 4th, and she said, "You watched P Valley?" I said, "No, I haven't watched P Valley. I hear people talking about it." She said, "I'm not going to even spoil it for you. I'm going to come out and I'm gonna let you catch up on it." So I caught up on it, and yeah, it's worth talking about. It is something worth talking about. But we have
Yeah.
several people saying they can't wait to the gospel explosion, and if y'all got questions for or suggestions, you can call in on the program right now, 310-6067 or 826-7661. That'll get you in contact with us here on the program. But while we do that, if someone do call in, we'll put them on hold mic for a second. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break before we get
Okay,
into this P Valley and Shy thing, okay?
sound good.
All right, then. Let's see. Well, my commercial's
So
not
there,
set.
you went and caught up on all of it?
Yes, hold on 1 second. Let's see. Get the commercials working. Let's see.
Shoot, P Valley.
tell you that the food that you brought to the party last night was wonderful. It made me think about my grandmother's cooking. Where did you get that food, brother?
I went down to Thomas' Rib Shack to pick up the ribs, but when I got there, I seen that they had more than just ribs. I seen baked chicken, fried chicken, corn muffins, vegetables, apple pie, peach pie, and I looked around and I seen a sign that told me that they got chitlins and oxtails on Sunday. Oh, all I can tell you, go down to 2931 15th Street or just give them a call like I did at area code 205-759-5010. Thomas Rib Shack, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Get your event jumping with Caroline Shines and Impulse Band. Impulse Band has been together for over 7 years, and they haven't missed a beat yet. The band has and will play in various venues and doesn't mind traveling to you. Being led by Alabama Blues Hall of Famer herself, Mrs. Caroline Shine. Impulse has opened up for Bobby Rush, L.J. Eccles, Tank, Fantasia, Calvin Richardson, just to name a few. The Impulse Band will surely fit your need for entertainment. Dial 205-887-6859 or 205-887-5026. Or you can just email them at shinesbrightly@yahoo.com. Caroline Shines and Impulse, the band made just for you.
Want to go ahead and make the announcement about the upcoming event that's going to take place on September the 10th. On September the 10th, we're having Miss Tina Sanders will be having a poet, a street poet, a motivational speaker, Miss Leroy Hall, coming to McKinstry Banquet Hall, and that's going to take place on September the 10th at 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tickets are only $30, and this is going to be a well worth program to come out and see Miss Tina Sanders. Her program, No More Tears, present Leroy Hall, and we will be having her on the program real soon in relations to that, coming up real soon on the program also. So that will be taking place on September the 10th. We're getting y'all ready for a lot of extra ideas, people putting in place right now. So be prepared for a lot of events that's coming up. Hopefully this COVID will be back under control, hopefully by then, but we still doing it. I also want to go ahead and announce about Friday Night Live, our youth program for ages 6 to 17. They're going to have free food, free games, PlayStation tournaments, DJ and dancing, face painting, nail painting, and more. And this is being presented by Block and 92.9 TUG, Shelton State, and Para, along with Spades. I see Spades' name is on there also. And the next one is Friday, July the 29th at the Belk Activity Center. Belk Activity Center is from 7 to 9 p.m. That's Friday, July the 29th. And if you missed that one, the next one is August the 12th, Friday, August the 12th at Hay Court from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. I'm sorry, dude. Huh? Mike, I caught myself laughing at that. I guess I can't blame him, but yeah, 5 to 8 p.m. at Hay Court, and then back at Palmore Park that Saturday, August the 13th. I guess it's a big back to school from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So that's going to take place, and we want to thank Para and Shelton State and all the sponsors of the Friday Night Live that's taking place here in Tuscaloosa. If you're looking for the insurance, don't forget about our good friend, Miss Alicia Jackson. She's a licensed life insurance agent. And if you want to make contact and get insurance, you can call her at 205-886-1462. 205-886-1462. And that is a licensed life insurance policy. licensed life insurance policy for those that didn't hear me. Life insurance policy for those might need life insurance. Don't forget about my good friend. Well, it won't come up. My good friend at Aliceville Police Department is looking for police officers. Anyone can apply. You can call them at 205-373-2517, or you can go to www.cityofaliceville.com, and that'll get you in contact with them. Um, the class of 1991, I think, is hosting a fundraiser, and they're selling Boston Butts for $35. If you want to call my good friend Val Fowler, and that'll get you in contact with her on that also. You have any other? Don't forget about the Gospel Explosion. It has now been moved to inside at the Bobby Miller Center on September. Once again, Mike, help me out.
It's the 22nd.
Uh,
The 25th.
25th, September the
Or that's on
25th.
a Sunday.
September the 25th, and it's at the Bobby Miller Center here in Tuscaloosa. And you can call for tickets or more information as being a vendor or performer. Call 205-499-2468. Once again, 205-499-2468, or you can email by my MidasTouchLLC at gmail.com. Thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome, Q. We behind you. We'll catch one of those Friday night lives here in Tuscaloosa. Um, but tonight, we're talking about how many of y'all been checking out the show, The Shy. The Shy. I like The Shy. I think it's a very reality show. It's on Showtime. Those of you that watch the program, it is on Showtime, but it's a very, very reality show. I mean, some of the things that are happening, of course, the loss of loved ones. They have different things to talk about. Uh, I think they one time had one where human trafficking was one of the segments about one of the members being kidnapped and taken in. They had segments where, of course, they talk about the 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 marriages of different same-sex marriages. They talk about that. I mean, the schools in Chicago. It's based around neighborhoods in Chicago. That's one of the things about it. But it's a great show. If you hadn't had a chance to check it out, it's in its fifth season. And it's a great. Believe me, it's a great show. If you get a chance, it's on Showtime. The Shot. You don't want. Believe me, it's. I had relatives in from Las Vegas that never saw it, never thought anything about it, and I introduced them to it, and they got just hypnotized to the fact of watching this every episode. It's like I didn't want to rewatch every episode, but season one, they started on season one, and they just got into it. We started like right after dinner at 5 o'clock, and they kept watching it like 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's a very, very good show. If you get a chance, check out The Shy. You won't believe me. It's a great, great show. Once again, I know a lot of people are now hooked on P Valley. P Valley, P Valley, P Valley. Second season has just started, and those of you that want to join in on the conversation, let me put the numbers back up again. Once again, you can call in 205-310-6067 or 826-7661. Here's the thing about these shows, y'all. These are reality. I mean, this is the reality of life that people are living in today's society. I mean, after I watched it at first, it was, I can say it's some scenes that I wasn't really approved of, but it's reality. It's reality. I mean,
But we'll say true to life. They are scripted shows, but they true to life. Like they're shows that dictate what actually goes on in real life, although it's a scripted show. So it's real and as gritty as you can get.
yeah, for the Mike, as you were saying, you know, I guess you have to look beyond the stripping part of it. I guess some people can, or some people probably say that's a center show or something like that. But this is a program that's reality, y'all. It's. I mean, the this is what our young people see. This is what our young people are rapping about.
Mm-hmm.
These are some of the things that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis for same-sex marriages, relationship. Uh, this, I think, P Valley is based on something probably after a hurricane in a small town. I'm not sure what town it is. Is it Mississippi or is it Louisiana? I'm not really sure. They got a very distinctive accent, country accent, I guess you could say. But it's about people living in poverty. So it's I can
A lot of
actually
these shows, people truly try to emulate.
trying to do what, Veronica?
They're really trying to emulate a lot of these shows. I mean, like sometimes the shows are a reflection of what's really going on,
Yes,
and
yes,
some people though are trying to emulate the show.
yes, yes.
They're trying to imitate the show.
What P Valley? They say it's in Mississippi. Okay, so what P Valley? I think the second season is based around this COVID aftermath. About open up the city, opening up the time. Same thing with Shy. Both of them is dealing with our time. It ain't like a show like what happened back in the 70s or what happened back in the 80s. These shows are dealing with our right now, right here situations. Inflation, uh, drug dealing, killing, gang related issues that we talk about each and every week right here in Chicago. I just reported what about 70 or 80 people shot in Chicago on Fourth
Dang.
of July weekend, and not to mention how many was killed. This Shy program, this Shy show, it it's dealing with what's actually going on in Chicago right here, right now. So it's a very good program. I think people, if you get a chance, it's on Showtime. I'm not promoting Showtime and Star, but these are the shows. But I think BET shows a version of P Valley. Is that correct?
They showed a version of Shot. I know BT have done it. I don't know how often they do it. But generally, if you go on demand, you should be able to find some of these. Uh, Not the new seasons that are on Showtime or Stars right now, but you should be able to find some of the old seasons. I think Hulu might even actually have some of them. So it's a way that you go and catch up on some of those episodes if you've never seen them. The getting acclimated to the show.
And I don't. I guess some of the characters I don't really know all their names for their cast name, their real name. But for us on the shows like on P Valley, you got Mercedes, you got Mississippi, you got Vic. What's the real guy name? That's the is he a true transvestite? I guess you can say. I'm not sure what's going on right there.
Hey, I don't know. I don't know. And truthfully, I don't even know you can say that word anymore, Daryl. I think that's a no word now. I think you have to say transgender.
Oh, transgender.
Uh,
Okay. But
and I'm not exactly sure their name. Uh, it,
well, I'm just gonna say
I
it's
don't.
some
It's interesting because see, like we're here and you don't even know how to I
address.
guess to talk about this particular subject. That's why you have shows like this that does talk about this
That
subject
that's right.
because we mess around and say some of the wrong things and then you mess around and get canceled just because you said the wrong thing. Like that word was a word that was fine 5, 10 years ago. Now you say it. Now it's like no, that's not. You have to. So um, yeah, it was
Well,
tongue tied.
well,
It makes me stutter a lot myself.
let me say this, Mike. That's a conversation that we're gonna all have to have and deal with right here, right now. I mean, the conversation of transgenders or how people identify themselves as a male or a female, that's a conversation we're going to have. And I think it's a out of reality that people block it or tunnel vision it out, but it's on Shy. Same thing. There's a transgender male that's a female now on that show, and there's a straight guy that's with her. So I mean, that is a conversation that we're gonna all have to have sooner than later. Naomi say, do you agree that for some people, some young people experience from the things from P Valley are the only exposure they have to this type of reality lifestyle? Huh? That's a good question, Naomi. Do you agree that for some people, that some young people experience the things from P Valley are the only exposures they have to this type of reality lifestyle? Yes, I got to agree with it. It is probably one of the shows that they can relate to. Um, what's going on there for us, the stripping, the money making process, and I personally know of young people that work in these places, and they say I can make. When I ask them why won't you get a job, okay, it's like talking to, I ain't gonna say a drug dealer, but I'm saying when I try to talk reality to them, it's like why can't you work a job that's paying $15 an hour? She say $15 I can make what they make in a week's time in probably 3 hours on a great night. Mm-hmm. On a great night. That's what she's saying. And what they making, probably what I'm making. And look, and then she used my own personal salary. My own personal salary in a 2 weeks time. She said I get that in probably 3 days at 6 hours, the minimum. Sometimes 7 hours. It just depends. But I said, do it hurts your pride? I mean, how do you relate to it as your pride in life? Or she said she taking care of her family, she taking care of life, her bills, her car note, and to get those instant gratification things, she's seen that as a way of doing that particular job. Should I look down on her? I don't. I can't look down on her. I can't look down on any person that's working. I mean, I disagree with some of the things you have to do to make the money, but there's a difference between, I guess, and I'm gonna ask you all: would you say a stripper or a drug dealer has a more relatable job?
I would say a stripper. Because even though a lot of people kind of do look down on some strippers, I mean, and the reality of it all is that initially, most of us at a younger age think that strippers are doing this, that, and the other for funny money, and they doing this, that, and the other. They ain't just making the money that's being thrown on the stage. Some of them do start to date the men or whatever, but all strippers are not prostitutes. And I think that is the correlation that a lot of people relate to strippers. A lot of strippers have husbands. A lot of strippers have boyfriends that are long-term mates, and that's just how they make their money. But and they don't do funny money. They don't turn tricks to get money. All strippers don't do that. But just the fact of just having your body out there, something I don't agree with it. But that's what some people do. At least they're not taking from somebody. They're not stealing from somebody, and they're not doing things like that. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is I wouldn't be a bartender myself because you gotta be aware of who's drinking what, who's drinking too much, and it's a lot of responsibility. But a lot of these bartenders make more than the strippers.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yes. Yes.
Also, strippers, a lot of them are paying for their college that way. A lot of them are taking care of their kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
That way. I think that's one of the things in school. So it's like you said, people have that perception of who she is because they only see that side of her. They only see her at that club that they go to, and she's there and doing what she has to do to get that money. And a lot of them make a lot of money too.
Well,
Doing that. I would like to say that. I would like to say that majority of the time, unless you frequent one of those clubs and you actually seen them and they're doing it, yeah. On the outside, you would never know that some of them dancers, you would never know that they're dancers. Yeah. Because they don't carry themselves like for lack of a better word, a fox. If you would, they don't carry themselves like that. They carry themselves in high regards, and like a lot of those ladies, they go to that, and some guys they go in there, they do that as a means to an end. Look, this is a great way for me to make money. I don't have to work, 8 to 10 to 12 hours, 7 days out the week or 6 days out the week. I have time for my studies. I have time to do this, and I can put some money back. And they know that there's a expiration date on how long they can do this. There's really truly not much difference in between that and being a professional athlete. A professional athlete has an expiration date on how long they're going to be able to play.
Right. Let me
ask. How many times have you seen an exotic dancer that's 35 plus?
Let me invite Val to join the conversation. If you don't mind, you can join the conversation with us tonight. We're talking about the reality of these TV shows on Stars and Showtime. I mean, it's as of right now, like I said, it's something that we were brought up in the Bible Belt, I guess you can say, the Black Belt, if you want to call it. And let me see. Everyone doesn't have firsthand knowledge of strippers, drug dealers, etc. To some people, these occupations are only portrayed on TV. Correct.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That is true.
Yes, some people.
We all live in a situation where, like, even growing up in small places, like you can be in Sawyerville, you can be Greensboro somewhere. There's always somebody that's throwing little parties or something like that, and with all kind of stuff going on. So everybody don't know about it, but it's going on around you all the time.
In Tuscaloosa, it's going on, and probably most people know about it because there's certain complexes I can run you off 3 or 4 of them right now, where they having them stripper parties right now, or they getting ready for the weekend, and they've been doing that for some years, for some years.
Well, let me ask you. So
you'll see them getting the deliveries of liquor in there, like they work like they at a bar or a club or something.
Well, let me ask you this: do y'all think Tuscaloosa is ready for a strip club yet?
I do. I do because I don't know as far as their behavior is keeping folks in check. I mean, every people going crazy everywhere. But Tuscaloosa has strip clubs right now. Like we might just told y'all in these apartment complexes, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Some of them.
Absolutely.
And some of the hotel rooms.
That ain't nothing new. That's been going on for so long.
Yeah, that's
it ain't nothing new. It ain't nothing new. A lot of people have been exposed to that.
It actually have a place where everybody go. Look, I'm gonna tell you, back in I want to say '98, I think it was the Prime Choice was still open, and I don't know if you remember this or not, Daryl, but they had male exotic dancers come to the Prime Choice. I remember they had so many people at the Prime Choice. They had to have not one, not two, but 3 shows. And they had women that would park in the median. Park in that trailer park across the street.
And that empty lot like
it was so many folks in there, and folks was waiting outside patiently to get in there to see that.
Mike, you're telling too much now. You telling too much, Bill.
No, I'm telling the truth.
He's telling the truth. Mike,
I work.
You telling too much.
I worked at BCH, and them jokers came up there and had pictures. But they still said, yes, I'm performing tonight. And every last woman, they said, oh, we get paid this Thursday anyway. And they went up there. I'm telling too much. He's telling too much. We're going to tell it all. But the fact of the matter is, if they
But I'm just saying, they thought that we ain't ready. They think some folks ain't ready for what it is. I mean, people gonna cut up and act up anyway.
There was no, now Daryl, you'll find no better than me. But if I remember correctly, the only problem it was that they couldn't get them ladies to leave. It wasn't no violence, wasn't no nothing. It was, well, we got the clothes now. No, 10 more minutes. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like all that kind of stuff. And you know what I'm saying? So it's not to say that we can't have.
Man, some of them dudes used to go to private parties after that thing closed down.
Oh
yeah, they went straight on to the 61.
Back to the subject. I'll get back to the subject.
I will say this, Daryl.
Go ahead.
I will say this. The reason why I say they're not ready for it, because they're not going to hire the right security. When I was going out and I went to, my first trip to Birmingham to those clubs, they had the right security. Those security guards in place. They didn't care who you was with, how much money you did or didn't have. They didn't care how you looked. They didn't care what was going on. They meant business. You don't have that in Tuscaloosa.
I bet
when people went to the club here, when I was going, the security was pretty much a joke.
It depends on what club.
It was in on what too, where you had to worry about being dealt with. But other than that, as a whole, the security was pretty much a joke.
I mean, I feel like times are changing. Times are changing. They would have to, if they want to keep it, they have to get accustomed to it.
All the clubs out of Tuscaloosa. That's why ain't no club here.
The thing about it is, when Jay was here, for instance, I'm using Jay as an example because they had exotic dancers in Jade a couple of times. And they had security. The Jade up here with Monty Inn on Skyline Boulevard. They had exotic dancers up in there several times. No problems. Because
hold on. Mike, hold on, Mike. Hold on. Let me verify this because you said something that might be in the wrong category. J1 never had the first J, which I was a part of. We didn't have strippers. We had comedy. After it was sold, they had strippers, okay?
Okay.
I was affiliated with J1. Now J2 ain't no telling what happened up in there.
It depends on who. It depends on who's the owner, who's running, who manages it.
It does.
Because every city, anybody, it's 2022. Strip clubs are just. I mean, they are what they are. If it's a little town that doesn't have, I bet your sweet ball is every now and then they have a party where they get some dancers up in there.
Yes, sir.
They might not be professional, but they get some dancers up in there. So if you get the right owner, the right management, they can have one. Right? Because the right owner, the right management, gonna have the right security.
I get called all the time. Can you have male dancers? Can we do bridal showers or what you call them, bridal shows? I'm like, I said, first question I asked, you got male dancers or female? I mean, male dancers or female dancers? Yeah. I'm sorry, sweetie, y'all ain't get me caught up in that one. I'm sorry, I can't do it. And they go right on somewhere else. But just say that right there. We never had that. We had good times at the first J. Good time. Adult stuff. Comedy. You know, Kevin Hart performed at Jay. Did you know Kevin Hart, Ricky Smiley, Michael Blackston, all those guys came through right here at Tuscaloosa and Jay.
Mm-hmm.
And Baby Bruce, Lavelle Crawford, all those guys performed right here at Jade on Tuesday night.
Yep.
Tuesday nights.
DC Carey and T.P. Hearn.
All those guys. All those big names you seeing on comedy right now. I don't recall some more being here, but I know Kevin Hart, Steve Brown, Mo Williams, all of them were bringing these guys.
Mo Williams was a host, right?
Yeah, Mo did one and Steve hosted one at one time. So All those guys were right here, Dirty South. Yeah, she still performed. Matter of fact, I had Dirty South over here at the hall a couple of times, a couple of years ago. But yeah, all those guys and young ladies, they performed right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama at the J's. That's when we had good times of people coming out, adult atmosphere, didn't really have no issues, two dance floors.
But also too, Daryl, y'all had adequate security. Because that's one thing that everybody used to say when Jay owned like police department. So they already knew they weren't coming up in there acting a fool.
That helped. That helped. But also, I always say one other thing that helped was a dress code. It was a semi-dress code. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. People with men had to wear a collar.
That's why there was a difference between the J and the sister club.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They really didn't have a dress club at the Citizen Club. And everybody and their mama, they had a whole lot of loitering out there. And you had a whole lot of incidents down here at the Citizen Club. Then you could come back up here to the Prime Choice and the Executive Lounge. It was always little different things like that. Mm-hmm. We even had the Diamond Theater at one time. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
They do stuff at the Diamond Theater all the time. Well, you know, so once again, most of those people, before it had changed so many different clubs. Bar 17 was the last one before it burned down, but initially it was the Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
When they had the Hollywood, they had security because they had a K9 unit walking around out there. Like that, you know, when you have security like that, you don't have many incidents because people already know that you're not playing. But then if you just got your homeboys, you got that oh man, I'm gonna pay you $50 to watch the show tonight, and he just gonna oh man, you fine, you come on in. That's kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that allows a lot of trouble getting here.
I think the key to
I knew several of them that had that. One of them was my stepdad. So I knew he wasn't fooling with nobody. He wasn't even worried about it. Just go and pay and get in. He might check an ID every now and again, but And I'm like, that's not security. This is not security. When I went to Birmingham, when I went to the French Quarter in Birmingham, they didn't have no police outside. Guess what it was? All of them was in the club. You didn't see them. But some jump off, I don't care if it was an argument. Third of them came out to see what was going on. And they were men and women.
We're gonna get back
Same way with the youth club they had up there. The police parked at the door. You had to turn sideways just to walk in. You had cops walking the deep up and down the sidewalk around the club, the block, walking the whole block. You had cops riding up and down the street controlling the traffic outside. You didn't have that here.
Well, Reverend Porter,
like that going on.
Let me ask you, Reverend Porter, what you seen the show P Valley or The Shot? You seen any of those shows?
I've seen The Shot. I haven't seen P Valley. I would like to see it, but with a lot of these shows, I see more of The Shy is more up to date, but a lot of them that I see, you don't see anything positive. You don't see a light shining positive on a black family or a black community or neighborhood. You don't see that.
I think
long gone.
Okay, so let me hold on. Let me ask you.
You'll never see another Cosby Show.
Okay, so let me ask you. You're saying The Shy is not a positive.
No, what I'm saying is it's up to date. It's up to date with current events or what's happening today. Mm-hmm. But when you look mainly on TV, period, you don't see that light being shined on a black family or black community or neighborhood. You don't see that.
Well, let's
you see drama.
Let's take
you see drama. You see turmoil. You see all these other issues, and a lot of those issues ain't nobody black going through that in real life.
Well, let's take The Shot. Let me stop you right there.
The Shy, yes, I said the Shy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, let's take the family.
Those are current events. Those are up-to-date events. So go ahead.
Let's take the family of the two women raising the young man and the young lady, and the daughter was pregnant, and then the intaking of another young. Well, I don't know how many season you is, but just the concept. I use Chicago for a reason, because I had relatives or I have relatives that live in Chicago right now, and when you go visit these places, you can kind of relate to the streets and the reality of what's going on. This side over here got gangs, and this side. And I went to a conference in Chicago, and it was like standing outside the corner store was just like normal. Those things were quite normal. And but just seeing this show, The Shy, the reality of the grandparents raising the kids, the young boyfriend or Emmett, the young man named Emmett, dealing with a lot of women and hustling tennis shoes and making babies everywhere, and they ain't able to take care of them, and finally coming to reality of maturing to a man. I guess you can say by season 5, I see the maturity of him now. And guess what? I had a cousin named Emmett. That's why I keep saying a lot of this stuff I can relate to. Just seeing the things that have happened on some of these shows. People leaving from down south, going to the north. It's a lot of reality that I can relate to on these shows. Even with P Valley, and you said you hadn't seen P Valley. Back in the day, and I'm not saying this to offend anyone, the young man that's playing the club owner, what's his name? Is it Clifford? Yeah, Cliff. Well, of course we see Cliff in our neighborhood before. We see the men that dressed up as women in our neighborhood, and it was at some point in time you would call a sissy. That's what they used to call you. If you were dressing up in women clothing and putting eyeliner on and stuff and dressing with dresses, they were calling you a sissy at the time. But now, in 2022, it's acceptable. There's some people still offended, or what they call it, gaybophobia or whatever it might be. But it's reality. Homophobia. Yeah, homophobia. But it's reality. Women dancing with women making love to women these days. This stuff is all now. But I guess the question to to my religious women that's watching the show tonight, what respect do you have for these situations now? Are they not welcomed to the church? Are they not welcome amongst the family and friends of our beloved God and Savior, that two women married attending church, or two men married attending church? How is that now accepted in our today's society?
Most today, when you talking Christian or believers, because there's no such thing as Christian.
Whichever answer you want to give.
That's something the Church of Antioch, which was ran by the Roman government, they made up Christianity. They made up calling somebody a Christian. Christ never called any followers, any believer, nowhere in the New Testament or the Old Testament, a Christian. He said, believe and trust and follow me. He never said, you're a Christian now. He never said that. So, that being said, people believe in the Christian religion. Now, if according to the Bible, we know that by the book of by Psalms 1, no sinner will stand in the congregation of the righteous. He loves the person, but he hates the sin they're in. And if they want to remain or seek to remain in that sin, also in Romans 1, he said, I'm going to lead them to a reprobated mind. He said, men ain't supposed to be with men. He said, women ain't supposed to be with women. That is unnatural. Leaving the natural, meaning women leaving men, that's the natural, to be with other women. That is the design of the devil to distort the coming together of a man and a woman to procreate. What did he say in the first chapter in Genesis? Be fruitful and multiply. He's been trying to stop that for the longest because he hates marriage between a man and a woman. Because he knows he'll never get invited again to the marriage feast like he was when he was in heaven, and it got to his head because everybody started praising him, and he wanted them to praise him over God because he oversaw the throne of God.
Reverend Porter, what's your opinion? What's your opinion? Would you?
So no, I would never
you don't accept
respect that. I would never accept that because my God does. He still loves them. The sin they in. And as long as they keep on wanting to continue in that sin, he's gonna leave them in it. That's with anybody. That's with me, that's with you. If we continue to live in that sin that we in, he's gonna leave us to a reprobated mind, whether you with a wife or you with a husband. It doesn't matter. He wants us all to live in heaven with him and be there with him. He don't want no man to go to heaven.
Well, we talked the other week, of course, that everybody ain't going to heaven. You know, we talked this right here,
but that right there, no, I would never promote that. I would never accept it. But ain't no man that's born. I don't care what lie you want to tell. You were born that way. I don't care if you want to holler you when you was 3. You can tell all the lies you want to fix it up. I'll never marry one. I'll never respect it. I'll never get behind it. I will never promote it ever in my life.
Once again, if you'd like to join this conversation, all you have to do is call us at 205-310-6067 or 826-7661. These shows have different scenes, different meanings, different names that I think everyone can, at some shape, form, or fashion, relate to as a reality of today's time. Reverend Porter, you mentioned something about a Cosby Show, another positive family-oriented television show.
Yes.
Even I think, as in today, Bill Cosby sent a great message back in the '80s with the Cosby Show itself of the Huxtable family. But I'm gonna just tell you, a more positive meaning show to me was Good Times.
Exactly.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Because she kept guarding.
To me, Good Times was a more reality show of how we as African American families live during those times. Welfare, inflation, gangs and warlords and all that. There again, all that was taking place. And at the same time, what kind of message now, though, by Bill Cosby being trialed and sentenced and put in jail and released? What kind of message do you resend now? If you had to say the Cosby Show was a great a positive family show back in the '80s, and then in 2020 you have the same man that put on that show being prosecuted of date rape and things of that nature. So how would you explain that? How would you look upon a person that has an opinion that show wasn't real, like wasn't the actual positive African American family compared to today's time? I mean, just think, it was rare that you had a lawyer and a doctor in our days as a family with everyone thinking the mindset of going to college. I just
Not only just that, every last one of them kids actually went to a college. Neither one of them dealt with teen pregnancies. I think they did one episode where they had one that dealt with underage drinking, but like the actual things that most people go through when they
one of Vanessa's friends is one of Vanessa's friends went through teen pregnancy. I forgot her name because she showed up. She was on the she played a part also in the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. She was Will girlfriend or something like that. Mm-hmm. She wanted to marry him, but when she was on the Cosby Show, she played a young girl who was dealing with teen pregnancy. Now I know for sure. Good Times dealt with that. Good Times dealt with a lot of issues that are currently going on, and a lot of people didn't. I feel a lot of people didn't pay attention to that enough.
But that's what we get to. Which one is more realistic though? Because if you look at the Cosby Show, like none of those kids, and I'm not saying that everybody have kids that's getting in trouble, but none of those kids got no actual trouble. None of those kids actually went through much of anything, as opposed to on Good Times, living in the inner city of Chicago. We talking about Chicago. JJ, Michael, both had to deal with gangs. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to join, the gangs wanted them. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Just because they had to walk in neighborhoods that was riddled with gang members. So you either had to be one or so they jumping on them. Yeah. They had to deal with firearms, whether or not they should have a firearm in the house or not. They had to deal with, people being impoverished and everything. You never saw anybody poor on college.
No, you're right about that, but in reality, everybody didn't grow up in the ghetto. Everybody black didn't grow up around the gangs in infested neighborhoods or areas or towns.
I can agree with that, but
so they were out there. There were black families living good. They were out there.
I didn't say that they didn't. I said, but which one is more? I didn't say it was.
Both of them in that era, because it was different times, different era, different audiences. Both of them in their era were perfect for that era. Also another show character in the show that everybody slipped on was Sanford Son and Esther. Esther was one of the only ones I know for sure quoted the scripture directly out of the book. You can go back and watch some episodes when she will quote scripture out of book. You can go in your Bible and find the same scripture right where she said it. So, but yeah, they were different eras, still showing different ways where the black family can be viewed. The Cosby Show was viewed was created to let people know. Bill created the show to let black people know you can have this. This ain't beyond your reach.
It was a good message.
You can go to college. You can be a lawyer. You can be a doctor. When in the 70s, in the 60s, in the 50s, black women, black men, they were told, you will never be one. You will never graduate. You will never go to college. And just like black people, black parents back then when we was growing up, black parents used to say what to us? When you get grown, you going to work or you going to school.
Or the military.
You're going to do one or two. If you didn't go to school, you didn't go on to college, you went to work. But nobody said anything about being no business owner.
But Mike,
nobody said nothing about us being a lawyer. We would have that in the school, like when the what day it was, career day.
But
They talked about us. They talked about us being nurses.
But real important.
About being police officers.
But real important.
They didn't say too much about being a doctor.
Real important. But we didn't have anyone in those positions to look
That's
up
what I'm saying,
to be that.
Cosby Show was letting us know you can get that. You can be that.
Let me read this.
I think it was one thing to see the show. I think it was one thing to see the show.
We could do it.
I think it was one thing to see the show than to have set examples. Now these shows are actually examples of what's really going on. So back then, it's kind of like they're saying you can do it. It's just like they've always said when we were little kids. We never saw one until Obama, but they always said you can be whatever you want to be. You can be a president. It's kind of like the Cosby Show did. It set the standard to let you know to strive for it. But some of the shows that are going on now are actually things and professions that are going on now. It's not like really saying you can do this. It's telling you this is being done. So is that kind of like what you're saying, Darryl?
Yeah. Naomi,
Okay.
let me read this comment. Naomi said, I believe Cosby was on an out loud mission to save the black family unit. I also believe his private weaknesses revealed were in the long run detrimental to us. I agree.
I agree with that.
I agree.
Because, like I said, he admitted to putting stuff in their drink.
I don't know if he did it.
The prosecutor at the time had already told him this would not be brought up against you. But he went back on his word. That's why he's sitting out free now.
But why do we have to be held to their standard? Why does it have to be detrimental to us as a people? Because they do things every day as a people that they don't want us to hold them all to their standard. But anytime we get a successful person, then to me, it doesn't have to be detrimental to us unless we allow them to let it be detrimental to us. Because just as they fight and say, see, this is what y'all do when y'all get a little something, we can still fight just as hard and say, no, this is what a bad seed does. Just like with the police force, this is what a bad seed does. Just like with nursing, this is what a bad seed does. Just like the students that went to nursing school that showed the gun, that's what a bad seed does. We sometimes allow them to say, this is a detriment to us. Yes, we'll sit here and have a power conversation and say, why the heck make us feel like that? They expected us of us anyway. But at the same time, they're doing the same things and worse. So why not talk about what they do just as worse? They don't allow it to be a detriment to them.
Exactly.
Good point, Vernon.
They don't.
Somebody who was just as successful as Bill Cosby is Harvey Weinstein. And
they're not saying he's a detriment to them. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's my point.
They're not saying that.
And he actually assaulted folks.
And I know we're held to a higher standard, but we should be held to the same standard because y'all know what I say all the time: fairness, justice system, fairness. You're gonna hold me to the standard, hold them to that same standard. Don't sit there and tell us to pull ourselves up out of the bootstrap, and we have to do it and do it hard, and we pull ourselves up and you cut the strap. So no, I will not say one person doing something bad. That's just like R. Kelly. Are all musicians? Is that the detriment to all black musicians?
Nope.
So that's how we have to stop fighting stereotypes as well. Because a lot of times we do, like I said, I'm guilty of, we sit there and say, why we had to do this? You know, they already think about this. We can say that, but we can at the same time acknowledge that we're not going to let them beat us down with it. Because they're doing some of the same things and worse. Like Mike said, Harvey Weinstein, nobody's holding them as a people accountable for that. Nobody's setting that up as that's what you can expect of them. Yes, they expect it of us, but who are they? We are just as equal as them. So stop allowing them to do so.
What they're not talking about, and I don't think they ever will talk about, is all of the so-called unknown sex parties they have across this nation with some of the most celebrated stars, entertainers, owners of ball companies, basketball, football, baseball, whatever, that they have at certain
But Sean, it ain't even got to be celebrity or outside. The fact of the matter is the sex industry is the oldest profession.
Yeah.
Known vain. We think I do saying at the beginning of this podcast, even at some of these smaller places, you be best sure that they have little parties, little party with dancing women, and they probably start off dancing, but they don't tell them what's happening after they get through dancing. You know what I'm saying?
I experienced that on my first job when I was working at Sherman. I experienced it. I was 16 years old, the youngest person in the place, and I experienced that when they had a Christmas party. I experienced it again when I was 18, and I was working at Glen Haven Nursing Home, and they threw the party at the hotel. The one that used to be over here in Northwood off of 82. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
So it's nothing new. I experienced it as a pizza delivery driver, delivering pizza, knock on the door. They open the door up, and oh my goodness, do you want to come in for a minute? Well, I really shouldn't.
I'm gonna read the comment. Naomi say, I'm hopeful that themes like the ones portrayed on the show, like P Valley, represent only a small portion of Black society. I'm optimistic that the number of professionals and successful families enjoying generational wealth far outnumber what we've been conditioned to believe exists. And that's true too. It is a small.
I think it can. I think it can. But I think that for a long time, the condition has been that we can't have no generational wealth because there are so many things that we as people don't know about. Like I said, we went to
I think we
something.
all hopeful. Yeah, I think we all hopeful, but the shot shows exactly why that's so hard for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because of us necessarily. Like we all strive for those things, those great careers. But you have to sometimes, like Kyle was saying, some people put themselves through school because they're strippers. Yeah, we know the bad parties that go on, but so a lot of people, a lot of those ladies go home because they have families to feed, they have car notes to make, they have this to make. So yes, mostly everybody wants to live. That's almost like saying the comfortable, almost looking like. Well, as we know, as we talked last week, most people are now falling out of the middle class into the poor. So a lot of what's going on TV is representation of what's really going on in most cities, to be honest. That's why they're making those shows.
And let's be honest with you, like, how many folks actually have gone to college, got a degree, and they are not working in the field? They cannot find a job, and they still having to pay these student loans and everything back. So they got to take.
Yes, those loans is what's holding a lot of people from stepping out of being poor into being wealthy, being rich, and rich into being wealthy. See, a lot of people, that's like we talk about around here all the time, celebrities. A lot of people really think they're wealthy and they're not. Yes, they may be well off or okay, and that's good. That's something to be proud of. Because like Miss Naomi said, that's what we hope for. But we have to be realistic. And this is not just today, this has been going on 70s, 80s, 90s. More African Americans are not living that generational wealth type of lifestyle. We're trying, and some I know a doctor that was a stripper, but so stripping can be a lift up to a lot of things. Or other professions, like I said, I would not be a bartender because I just wouldn't like. I don't like the idea of serving people other alcohol. People have to know their limits. You don't want to be responsible for knowing other people's limits. You don't you just want to be in an environment. But like we was talking about, Mr. Bowling, who was killed in Lowndes County. That man had $500,000 when they lynched him. Imagine that wealth today. What are we really doing that will allow us to accumulate that wealth? Now we can't get together. People say, "Well, what are you doing?" When I say, "What are you doing?" I mean we're trying to survive day to day, and some of us will be able to leave some generational wealth, but how much? Is going to be enough for 20, 50, your grandchild to be living on that they don't have to go strip. It may be more than what we had during our day and in our time, but will it still be enough for them to be okay, to be comfortable, to not have to do something that may not be desirable?
Yeah, I'll add on to Veronica that even if you leave some sort of generational wealth to the next generation,
we're going to have to allow that next generation to continue it. For us,
we have to be that person, that generation that sees the next generation how to build upon what we have built upon.
Exactly.
And we don't necessarily have that because we have a lot. Like I said, we went to the financial literacy thing Saturday, and there's so many different things that they were talking about in there. And before you even ask the question, he was like, "I know some of y'all saying, hey, well, I ain't know nothing about this." He said, "Well, you ain't supposed to know nothing about it because they say it's illegal to tell you about it because you don't make enough money." But you have other families that involved in that stuff from the beginning. That's why you see some white kids, they graduate from college at 22, 23, they done went and bought their first starter home. Yep. And then 3, 4 years later, they selling that house, getting another bigger house. And you have a lot of black families that ain't bought their first house yet, or their only house.
Right, and there's some that do it. We're not saying that nobody does it because there is a portion of people who do it, a portion of black people who do it, but we don't do it on the scale of the next race. I'll just say it like that. It doesn't matter which one. We don't do it on that scale, and that's not to say we don't want to. But along with leaving the generational wealth, you have to teach the generational wealth. So, are we leaving enough to be with the amount fund wise and educational wise? Because a lot of these people who are leaving their generation up, the Bushes, them girls can go and tear up their whatever they got, and their family's still gonna be okay. It's gonna take generations and generations for us to be that way. They can go, and one of them can go and just give their money to somebody. The other sister, the rest of the family, still gonna have enough to carry her own generational wealth and her children and their children. So we know that we don't have it, like that. And I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that with things the way they are, some of us do have a little bit more than others that can leave, but we have been stripped of it, and we also are stripped of the means to acquiring it a lot of times. It's still systemic racism, systemic deprivation of things going on for us. Now, that being said, it's not an excuse, but we always know as a whole, we're climbing up. We're still behind. We're still behind. And we know now that there are people working that always work to keep us behind, but they'll still tell us the hypocrisy of it. Pull yourself up by the bootstrap. Well, do that because black families have. And many of them are still okay and successful, but some of them had those bootstraps cut by the powers that be. And that just is what it is.
Or you pull yourself up by the bootstraps and they find everywhere they can and take them same boots away from you that you use to get where you at. Like the family in California who just got their property back, their beachfront property back. Mm-hmm.
Right, in Cali, imagine all that wealth. And just like when I was saying, when I learned about the man in Montgomery, in Lowndes County, had $500,000 in 1947. And I've been talking to them more and more and found out that one of them has played for the University of Alabama. They've been here. They've done a lot of things. But they told me they went from being one of the wealthiest families, not black families, but families in Alabama, to being poor overnight.
Yeah, I heard her say that. Overnight.
Overnight.
Right, because they took it and they allowed the banks basically allowed them anybody that they owe some money, and everybody went down and so that's why I'm saying I'm not even talking about give some of our people their reparations. Give them what you owe them. Give them what you took. Your ancestors took it, well, you can be the ones to give it. Yeah. Just like your descendants can do whatever they need to do. Because they took it. They took it overnight. And that picture, I don't know if you saw that picture there, but she explained what that picture was in the documentary. That was her purse. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like, so I know a lot of times they say, oh, y'all making excuses. No, I'm not making no excuses because I'm the last one making excuses for people. But at the same time, understand the reality of it. The thing, as we see politically, things have not changed. They've changed some. Things have gotten better, but they haven't changed to the degree that they should have. Give some people what they're owed, not even give them reparations. Give them what their ancestors, what they're owed. What you took when they pulled themselves up. That man owned a fleet of trucks. He employed people. But the excuse they used to take their stuff was that he got smart with one of their wives. So they even watched him allow him to accumulate the wealth. But when he got wealthier than some of them, then it became a problem.
Exactly. And that's
and some of that goes on today.
Full circle, that's what a lot of folks were saying about Bill Cosby, that what a lot of folks say about
right.
I was like, oh, he tried to buy NBC. All that kind of stuff.
Money he got. To this day, they still don't know how much money Bill Cosby got. They want to know. They think they know.
They know
he got
that
way more than 400 million.
They know that he has donated over $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And which means that he's able to donate that much money. So what he has generated is well over that. So they don't like that part.
He's to the point where they don't have to know how much he has now. He's to the point where enough was enough a long time ago for them.
He sure was. That's why they were so mad.
But like Val said, you would hope the goal would be to portray more positivity. And it's so sad that now at one time on like broadcast TV, like with the green leaves and stuff like that, it was more positivity to me. It was a little drama because it was supposed to be nighttime. So, but it was a successful church minister and his wife and their children. They had the little same stuff that goes on day to day. You get the child by another woman because you cheated and you was the pastor. Well, you a man. You fall short of the grace, but you ask for forgiveness. They had stuff like that. And now, as far as that kind of stuff, I absolutely agree with her because even though they had their downfalls or the things they did that were wrong, they were still successful church, successful mega church that seemed to have some degree of morals. They weren't just wilding. So I agree as far as like maybe show more stuff like that. And I think that is maybe on broadcast or regular cable more, things kind of like are a little bit more positive. And then a lot of times, sex and drama sells. Sometimes something will start off kind of being that way. Like there's a show, Love and Marriage Huntsville. It started off with 3 couples, power couples in Huntsville. Now it ain't nothing but a bunch of YouTube, Facebook, and all that drama. Because I guess the numbers weren't doing right. So they started getting more into the more personalized. Of course, they were doing personal stuff in their life that caught attention. People who knew them personally were like, oh, they ain't just right, just like that show us. See, it's always something that brings the positive side down. So I think they do strive to have some more positive images. Like I said, Greenleaf is a soap opera. But it strove to be somewhat positive. Love and Marriage Huntsville, it started out to being positive. Now they're only talking about a man who had fidelity on his wife, they had 4 kids together, and he just always ends up being the sex and drama sales, gets the ratings. Mm-hmm. As we see less positive stuff.
That's the reason why you get all these spin-off shows that are almost the exact same thing. Bachelor, Bachelorette, Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives, Real Housewives, all of these roughly the same show. That at some point they gonna get to fussing and fighting with each other, and folks actually they get together the next day and talk about it.
And you know what? I hate that the characters allow that to happen. But guess what? They go ahead. They some of them will leave the show. They're like, I can't do it, just too much. But the ones who are there, you say, well, why do y'all allow that? They only make us look like that. Y'all know that that's what they want to see. They let us look like that because we let them. Well, guess what? If they don't do it, it's gonna always be another cast and crew that will. So they go ahead and stick around and they do it. But you know what? When we want to shut some stuff down, if you really want to, because that was supposed to be like this sorority type show. And they had the AKA, Deltas, whatever, and the other ones on there. I know AKA and Delta was supposed to be the major too. And they was on there, they was gonna be clowning, straight clowning. They shut that down, baby. They shut it down. So I said, so we can do what we want to do when we really want to. They was about to have our sororities out here looking like they was wild. And we know people in sororities ain't no better than nobody else. They do black, white, whatever sorority. Some of them do some of the most jacked up stuff. But they have a standard to live by. They don't want to be known as that's what they do in that day. That's what they do. Even though they probably dog drag, do whatever. It was about to be on national TV. So somebody somewhere they stopped it. It might have showed one show. They had one show. They had a couple of shows actually, but they did maybe one. Oh, they shut that down. They shut that down. So we can have ourselves be held to a higher standard when we want to, because they shut that down. They weren't about to have AKA out there looking like they were wild like that.
That's right. It was the national chapter, the Deltas.
So you remember that?
Yeah, I remember the national chapter. They said, "Oh, y'all
shut that down." Yep, they shut that down. Y'all gonna have us out here looking like no love and hip hop. And that's exactly what they was looking like, because they showed a few of the trailers. Y'all supposed to be living by this, and have this, that going on. And then these folks about this these folks about to expose y'all. Because some of the stuff they do, we know they ain't perfect. They do. They're some of the messiest people, but we hell a lot of us messy in whatever we do. But as an organization of representation of black women, they shut that down. And I was so glad. I was so glad they did.
I mean, it ain't like you don't know that when you go to Key, you and I, we both work on the university. We don't had to go into a sorority and fraternity houses. And we know what kind of stuff they got going on up in there. Oh my goodness. But you know what I'm saying? But the actual letters itself means something. Other than, just their actual actions all the time. Because you're only gonna notice in anything, and I don't care who you are, that and I don't want to be facetious or nothing, but William Shakespeare wrote and Julius Caesar a part where he said the evil that man do often lives behind him, the good often interred with his bones. That's how Julius Caesar. That is the truth in every which way it is possible. You will remember forever. That's right. Every last thing that somebody did that was wrong, but all the good things will be overshadowed by anything bad that you ever did. I don't care. Like I said, you just got to say about Bill Cosby having donated over $1 billion to HBCUs. How many folks heard any mentions of any of that? Any of the other charity he did? Nope. The only thing you know about now is that he had been convicted of being a sexual predator, and that's the only thing that is what has happened now. That's what it is. That's the image. That's the image they want to project, because to them he was a threat. He was a threat because he was inspiring the black community. He was making moves in the black community. Like I said before, he was doing shows and selling out shows, and he wasn't telling damn jokes. He had been doing that for the last 10 years before all this came out. He was telling black people how they are, how they should be, how they need to stop living. He was telling them how to create wealth. He was telling them, he was going to colleges, from college to college, that he put money into. He was having concerts in community, telling these black women, these black sisters, y'all need to go to work. You need to get off welfare. Welfare wasn't for you. It was for them. This is the thing they got upset about. Oprah had him on her show, and was talking about the same thing. Because she started siding with him. That's all these comment had become. It wasn't even jokes. He was sitting down in the chair telling black folks, y'all need to stop selling drugs. Y'all need to get off of welfare. These are the programs that's out there that help you. But foundation, so you can get into college. But you can better yourself. You can be more successful and more contributing to your society.
But Kai, I look at
but
that's a good.
They didn't want to talk about that, because also that was part of the reason why they had to make sure. I know, and a lot of folks did.
Now that's a good message that he did send or was sending. But there again, just like our program, we're not reaching the ones that need to hear it. It's not like every Sunday the message when you're in church every Sunday, if you don't have any visitors and they ask at the end of the service or say that the doors of the church is open and no one joins, that means you're talking to the same people. You're not getting the message out to the ones that actually need to hear the message. And there again, that's a breakdown of communication to the people that need to hear our message, or the message of Bill Cosby, the message of but soon as you make it sex oriented or message oriented, oh you got 3.5 views then because it was messy. It was
There,
messy.
it'll be 600 views. People watching this show at the same time if you did that.
There, if you make this show about a P Valley review, yeah. So if you have P Valley review, a shy review, and that's how we focus on and talk about it, you would be monetized. Facebook will monetize you.
Yeah, let me start that.
Oh yeah.
But that is the shows that you see that come on television, and even it used to be like this on network, but even on network television, I'm talking about like on NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, CW, all of them now have the air of some sort of over the top sexuality in it that you like, do we really need to have that part in it? You know, you'll say that about so many different things. I don't think that there is a show right now that comes on that they don't highlight a LGBTQ commercial, not commercial, but couple character. Well, no, well, yeah, it's a character. Somebody in there is LGBTQ, and they highlight it. Yeah. And a lot of times it can be like, well, shoot, anybody even have to even know what their sexuality was. That's not even a big part of the show. But they'll make sure that you know that, okay, well, this person is gay, this person is lesbian, this person is trans. They deflect and make you look at things the way they want you to look at it. So yeah. When you come down to what we were looking at, like our show here, I guess if we was to have a transgender person to come on the screen, I don't know how many folks would take a look at it. You know, to be honest with you, there. You know what? I ain't never known. But we always knew somebody. I knew somebody coming up that, you know, they go to school, they dress like a boy. As soon as they get out of school, they dress like a girl. Yeah. You always see that stuff. And for a lot of us, just would never even say nothing about it. But like Daryl said, you know, you call them a sissy. There was a whole bunch of different terms. Bulldagger, sissy, boat chick, oh my god, it was just so many. I used to sit back and listen to my grandparents, well, my grandfather and them, they talk about people like that. Gators. You thought they were talking about
I remember that time. I remember that time.
And you be like, you talking about alligator? No, I ain't talking about alligator, boy. Get out of bed.
Yep. You're right about that.
But now things have shifted to the point where it's like the new normal. That people, you know what I'm saying? You see two dudes. When I was coming up, if I saw two dude kids, I'd be like, ugh, you know, I have something to say. Now you see somebody kids, you be like, I would just take that somewhere else. But you'll say it to yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I see if they could. I still call. I don't care how much makeup they put on, how many wigs they wear, what dress they put on, how much jewelry, how much makeup, nothing. When I see him, I'm gonna call him boy. I'm gonna call him man. What up, man? Because that's what you is. You were born there. Ain't no one listening. You can lie to yourself all you want to, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna call you man. What up, man?
So
If you a woman,
you
if
don't
you try to be a girl, you like girl. What up, girl? You ain't no man. You were born a woman. You ain't no man. I don't care what surgery you have. I don't care what hormone pills you take. You're not a man.
What
I
happened
don't
when
care
you
what
don't
you
know?
do to your body, what you cut off, what you tuck in. You still a man.
Cal, what happened when you don't know though? What if you sitting next to one and you
I
have
just finna say,
and
I'm gonna got so good now, but you can't tell you.
Look, I was working on the UA, and I was talking to a woman that I thought was a man. Even when her husband walked up and said, I see y'all met my wife, I had to look 4 times to see if I can see a woman. And I still couldn't see it.
Well, I mean, but we're gonna be honest. There's some butcher looking women out there. They're like there's some feminine looking dudes out there.
Yeah.
But there it has several years ago on Fox they had a show called Star. And they had a transgender person on there, was supposed to be Queen Latifah's son / daughter. And I said, oh, that's a woman that they got playing a transgender person. And they did an interview with that particular person and found out that was actually a transgender person. I was like, oh, that's some violence waiting to happen right there. But the minute that she tells somebody that, you know, earlier in the podcast, I talked about a place called 61, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They used to be up there 61.
But Mike, just like you just said, when he find out, just like in P Valley and just like in Shop, there are men that know these are men.
Mm-hmm.
In relationships.
You got some guys that they don't care what it is. It's like, hey, I tried. You know, that's kind of mentality they got. But then you got some guys that, you know, they gonna take it to violence. I worked at the hospital with a transgender person that didn't tell somebody that they were transgender, and it was I don't know if y'all ever seen that movie called The Crying Game, but it was a situation similar to that. And when clothes were removed, he found out, and he beat that person with a bat. So
everybody ain't ready to hear that, especially when you don't tell them and they've been dealing with the person. You know, you shouldn't hurt or harm nobody. And people love to say, well, you should know this and you should know that. There are some things you will never know about a person because some people don't always know themselves. But for those that do know themselves and they know that there's something that could, you know, trigger a negative reaction, and a negative reaction should not be to harm the person, but I'm saying you never know what a person will do.
No, I would like to say that I wouldn't, but I can't say that I've been kissing on you and everything else, and then next thing I know, you know, something hit me, and this is, I'm trying to be, you know, gentle with this, but you know, if the hat to come out and it ain't mine, and I'm like, wait a minute, what in the world? And folks have seen me kissing on you and everything. I'm not sure that I would be in the right frame of mind.
I think just don't say the word. Look, I ain't know. Because I mean, everybody understands now that people are so can be fooled. You know, you see a time when nobody understood that. You know, you see a time when people say, "Oh, you know." I had to do it with their hands. I had to do it with their neck. But now you can be fooled.
No, what I'm saying, like, truthfully, if that happened right now, Man, I'm sure that I'm saying my mind's probably gonna just switch off, and anything, yeah. I probably will turn into a violent, and I'm not a violent person by nature, but I probably would have to.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to try to get it like anybody can be fooled, and if anybody say otherwise, they can tease you. They want you to have certain reactions, but you can be fooled these days. You can be fooled. I saw a guy yesterday, the other like this week, and you didn't know until he spoke because he's going through the things that he needs to go through. Looks like a beautiful young woman. We didn't know until he spoke.
I had a friend that went out to San Francisco to do music years ago. He got out there. He did good. He was even talking about bringing us out there just to show us a good time. He went to the club out there with some friends. He got introduced to what he thought was a woman. Got back to the hotel room. He performed first, and when it came down to really get down to it, when everything was dropped down, he was like, "Oh, you a man," and that didn't end too well. He ended up in prison because he killed the dude.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's where a lot of that violence. But like Veronica, let me ask you this, and because I just don't know for real. Mm-hmm. You dating somebody and you like them, and then they tell you later on that they had transitioned. They used to be a woman, but now they're male. How would you personally take something like that? Oh, do you
So you said they tell me? They tell me?
Yeah.
Well, the way I think like that, you can date anything or anybody, but you don't want to lay with anything or anybody. Anybody go give me a nice meal, bye. I'll meet you there anyway. I'm going home, you going home. But if it goes to other conversations going to be had, and see, a lot of times that's what's wrong with a lot of people. They don't have conversations. We ain't still 1920 and thinking fast no more. You got to have some conversations.
That's right.
And if somebody's ashamed to have that conversation, you don't well know they're ashamed to let you look at anything. But I look on the nerves. I've seen a lot. I want to look. And if they've had the surgery and they transition, I still don't know if something's gonna be just right.
One thing that also.
So a lot of times people be shamed. They ain't shamed to lay down, but they be shamed to ask to move.
That's true.
You got to have conversations. Especially with this day and time, a lot of stuff that we used to be shamefaced of, you got to have conversations because you don't want to get in trouble and you don't want to be fooled because some people have literally been fooled and still didn't know until after they was told. These people that want to be different than what they are, they have a lot of different things that they do to make people think that they are what they're saying they are.
That is
people
true.
have been fooled.
Now, you also,
well, I'm glad I'm happily married.
Stars who promote that, male stars, black men, Malik Hugo talked about it, and he said he's nothing wrong with it. And I'm like, okay, if you're a heterosexual guy and you making statements like that, and you sending that out, because like you said before, you got a young black male that's gonna hear that, that's gonna see that video of you saying it's okay to date a man if he look like a woman. That's basically saying what we've all been saying. All you're doing is admitting that you're gay. And always have been, if you accept it.
Now, and here's the thing about that too, because we would, and I think we had this conversation. It was quite a while ago, but generally, those people they're considered down low guys. And down low guys will not admit to it. They will fight you tooth and nail if you call them homosexual or gay, because they say I'm not gay, but because they said that they're on top. And at first I was like, what you talking about? But because they actually do the and once again I'm trying to be example, but they do the actual penetration. So nobody don't penetrate them. They feel like they are not gay. Uh, Personally, it don't matter to me. I think that you kind of put you in there.
And a lot of people who have been locked up have that mentality too.
Yeah, I think that's where it comes from, actually.
Yeah.
My cousin.
Raise it mentally adjust to adapt to the situation. So then they bring it out on the outside.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I got a cousin in Georgia, in Atlanta actually, and that's what she said to me. She said, if you were single and you came here, she said women be all over you. I said, why? She said, because you're a real heterosexual male. I said, what?
I heard it.
She said, it's so many down low brothers in Atlanta. It's pathetic. It's almost more than just outlandish or out front gaming. She said they dress good. They got kids. They got nice cars, nice homes, but
Rihanna, it's a famous first Facebook person that just went through this. He just got engaged in May, I think it is. He got engaged in it's either March or May, and he had told his family, and you could tell that he was a gay man. I guess he had been known. He admitted it. If you go on his Facebook page, I can't forget his name because he's opened up. He's open about his story, and he's like, this is the woman I'm gonna marry. This is this, and he said he had changed. So he's gotten this lady pregnant now, and they were supposed to be getting married one day in September. Y'all, now see, this kind of stuff you can't play with folks' feelings, whether you know or not.
no.
He knew he was gay. She knew. The family knew. He had proposed to her from family, his family, excuse me, and I could look at his mannerisms and still tell that he was maybe I guess trying to be straight, but he still had the mannerisms. Mm-hmm. But a lot of men have mannerisms because just depending on who they was raised by or who they followed or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he has now broken off his engagement with her and is engaged to be with a man he had dated once, and they're engaged to be married on the day he was supposed to marry his woman.
Wow.
I guess he tried. And then he's saying, now we have problems that y'all just don't know about. But you became famous on Facebook for talking about how you treat your woman and how you're supposed to treat a woman. I cannot think of his name. Basically, young man. He has 2 kids. The mother to one of his kids is gay. So I don't know if some people are just fighting it. It's still, even though we be saying it's 2022, people doing this, that, and everything else. For some people, it's still a mental battle.
I know too many people who are. I know a lot of women right now who are lesbian. They have several kids. And some of them they'll say stuff like, "Well, these guys don't want to act right, so I guess I just go to a woman." And I be like, it hurts me to hear that because I'm like, dang, it's got to be one out there that's
definitely is. That's just different as Steve, just like for a man, and he said the same thing.
I mean, I ain't never heard a dude actually say that. So I think a lot of guys are like, man, they feel like they want to be that way, they that way. But I've heard it's like I said, several women say that, and it's like, really? Y'all ain't met all the guys.
Man. Just like what men said about women and women said about men. All men are like, all women are like. No, they're not. You ain't dated all women. You ain't dated all men. You just dated the ones you know. You can't lay that across the board and say it's all men. All men are dogs. All men are alike. That's not true. One gave you life. One gave him life. The Creator gave all of life. So how you gonna say all men and go up in service Sunday and say amen? That's not true. All women are not what men say they are. That is not true. Got one right here on the phone. That proves that's not true. No plenty that's not true about it. But it's like the negative always, everybody gets lumped in the same barrel. And when we were talking about the shows today, the majority of the shows, when they're depicting anything of black culture, black image, or black people, it's always a negative light. Everybody gonna live like they do in that show. What you say the word payday, whatever it was. Yeah. Mayday. People who? Every black person ain't living like that. Ain't nobody on the phone living like that. That's just a negative depiction that they done put back on the air, along with all the others. And that's how black folk live. Every black person. I don't think that they're saying that all black folks live. I think that it is an accurate depiction of how some black people are living though. That's the thing. I think they highlight the most negative because that's the one that most people want to watch. They don't really want to watch. Like we were discussing, that's what's going to say. Negativity will take more than positivity. I mean, drama gonna sell more than happy endings all the time. If every show ends in a happy ending, it's gonna after a while you're gonna be like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no. I guess there's you got to have some sort of you got to have something to make folks come back to it. And if it's gonna be, oh, we had this happy little lucky, and you know everybody doing quite well, and we'll never have any problem. Nobody never get sick, and nobody everybody got good jobs and all this stuff. Who gonna tune into that? Those shows like that, the happy go lucky all the time. Even in the 50s, what in the 60s, what Fathers Knows Best and Leave It to Beaver, all those different shows. They were white shows, um, but not all of them always Andy Griffith. Not all of them ended, all happy go lucky way everybody. That had never happened in TV history. But it has expanded. Drama has expanded. So like we were talking about those reality shows. The only reality show I really respected, I can't remember the father and son. They built motorcycles, and they built outlandish motorcycles like Batman motorcycle and Superman and Orange County, Charles. They were told if you don't have no drama, we won't be able to pick y'all up the following season. And they had already been on for like 4 or 5 seasons. And the father's name was Senior. And I remember him saying, no, he and his son disagreed with that. And they were like, that's why you don't see the show no more. That's actually not true. That particular show, they had drama on that show. They had drama because Junior and Senior, they even split their company because it was OCC, and then he split to Junior Tuttle Customs, and they had he had a second son that was basically going between the two of them. They had drama on there, but it wasn't like they basically started like competing with each other. So I mean that I don't think that was but as far as cat fights and we gonna that's what I'm talking about. And we go to like all the Real Housewives and all the basketball wives, which
to my knowledge, none of the basketball wives were actual wives, but neither here nor there. But they always seem to want to get into this heated fight at this classy joint that they sit around there drinking out of crystal and everything else, and they everybody looking at them like the average person probably can't even get into this restaurant, and y'all going up in there acting food. And you got cameras sitting right there catching all of it. It's like
Daryl, hold on 1 second. Mike, I'm sorry. Hey, Daryl.
Uh-huh.
Look up Clarence Yarborough while Mike is talking for a few minutes, and you'll see the story I'm talking about. It's on Facebook. You go ahead, Daryl. I was just wanting y'all to see just how crazy this stuff is, and this has happened within the past few months.
You said Clarence Yarbrough?
Clarence Yarborough. Clarence Yarborough is Yarbrough.
he got relationships through game.
he was speaking on his mostly.
Yeah.
And there's pictures. He still has the pictures up with him and the girl in the black and the red. If you happen to get the pictures, the black and the red. She's in black and red. He's in black and red. But it'll take you to go down this timeline and say he still goes into how y'all thought this. We weren't happy. We ain't been happy in a while. But you've been on here giving all types of relationship advice on how to treat your woman. So people will go out of their way to either one, to live up to the expectations of others, because I guess he had come out, so why not just stay out? But then now you've got this lady pregnant and y'all are engaged, and you have now broken off the engagement, but you're engaged to be married to the guy. To me, some stuff is just, we are still people no matter who we try to identify as. Some stuff is just low down to me.
That
sometimes people do this stuff is spiteful. And that's why some people just go off.
She now needs to go get herself checked. She really do.
And then what gets me is his attitude. I guess because people are going to leave comments. You've been telling people, giving advice on how to do your woman. You do your woman this way, that way, that way. You propose in front of the family, and also announce that she's about 5 months pregnant, maybe, I think. You have 2 other kids, so maybe she thought that there was a potential for him to change back. He's from Louisiana.
Yeah, I see it. Kurt and Clarence gonna get married September the 3rd.
And that was her date. That was their marriage. That was their date to be married.
And that's an added slap in the face.
I wouldn't be surprised if them jokers wind up on Fatal Attraction.
They was on just 5 hours ago in the car together talking about good news. I'm like, but what about this woman you look devastated? That you've embarrassed. You've definitely embarrassed.
Her and her family.
Mm-hmm. Because you didn't know how to figure out figure out what you want to be. That's why I respect any gay man or gay woman who stands in what they feel or stands in what they are. Don't be trying to change, because if you are, whether people agree with you or not, if you are that, stay that, be that. Don't ruin somebody else because you're trying to figure it out for yourself. And if you still feel like you want to try and change, well, that means trying to be with a woman. Look, people take anything these days, they accept anything because they ain't trying to settle down anyway. Sometimes you can be honest with a person and say, hey, look, I'm kind of vibe right now because I don't know what I want to be. Some people be cool with it. And if they're not, but just give them that choice. So when we talk about these subjects, people love to say, oh, you're phobic. No, we're not phobic. We're just addressing the issues that they bring up. Some of the things that they're doing, they're not kosher. They're wrong.
Yeah, so.
I mean, it's just like with a heterosexual man. If you're a horse, then leave me alone. Then I got to do with your sexuality. That's your behavior. So tell people how you are. Tell people when you know that you're meeting someone, you're dealing with somebody who wants a traditional relationship. Let it be known that you're not traditional. And see, some of them are trying to say, "Well, I am traditional. What's wrong with me?" Nobody said anything was wrong with you, but you know it is what it is. Be realistic. Let people know This lady's looking for a man who wants to be a man all the time. Now he's broken off the engagement with this girl. And she's got to sit here and know that he's getting married to a man. Not another woman, even. A man.
Yeah, I think
what's going to be a wedding day.
That's like the twisting of the knife right there. Because now you start, I think some people wind up thinking like, well, dang, what, something wrong with me. Well, he went to, and it's vice versa. I think guys do the same thing if a woman leaving and go to another woman. Spike Lee did not was it? Yeah, Spike Lee did a movie called She Hate Me. Um, had Jeremy Mackey in it and Kerry Washington. Jeremy Mackey was engaged to Kerry Washington, and he thought everything was fine. And he came home one day, and she was in the bed with someone else or with another woman. With another woman, yeah. And what I'm saying, he was distraught, and he was like, he couldn't understand, like, is it me? What? And she actually, well, like Kerry Washington said, she still loved him, but a woman did a thing.
And you can't just think that a man will take it better. I think people resort back to, y'all remember Cisco, somebody sleeping in my bed?
Yeah.
And it was a woman. So a lot of times people act like it's okay or it's cuter when it's a woman. It depends on the man. That might not be cute. That may be devastating for him.
And we had a conversation about that on God of the Sexes, in which, we had a lot of women saying, I thought that most men would like the fact that two women was in the bed.
Right.
No, not all men do, because the one thing that's got what happen is, I don't care. When you start talking about the threesomes and stuff like that, is somebody gonna get more attention than the other person. There's a jealousy gonna come in. And if she is more into that other woman than you, then you really and truly just there so that you won't be fussing. So, we had a long drawn out conversation about that on Battle of the Sexes. Like all men don't want two women at the same time.
Right, that can be devastating to them as well as a woman finding out that vice versa.
Absolutely.
And it was just, after just y'all talking about that, it just made me think people want to be treated equally and fair and don't want to be judged. But what about the people that do? People still that don't do conniving things as well. Because when you do conniving things, then it just makes it that much worse. Because like I said, it could have been a heterosexual couple. And he could have said, well, I'm not marrying you, I'm marrying another woman. Like people shared that other video not too long ago where the guy was standing there and the friend was sitting down and he took her hand and walked out with her. Okay, painful, devastating. That was a woman. That was a woman. But then now you're gonna do this to a woman, but you're doing with a man. And so some people are like, well, what's the difference? There is a difference, and I don't care what people say. Just like you expect for folks to expect to understand their feelings, and you need to expect to understand other people's feelings. The person who's hurt, whatever feelings they have, you need to respect those, just like as if she had done it to him, or however it's just when a person who's LGBTQ does something that's wrong. Every day, everybody's in an uproar. But when they do something that's wrong, instead of saying, yeah, you were wrong, well, they'll look at the person who was hurt and say, well, okay, well, he was wrong, but don't say that because you said you phobic then. But that person was still wrong. So when people are mad, they're going to say a lot of things. Especially if a woman that's 5 months pregnant by you, and apparently you were being this way before, and so she fell in love with you because you had now presented yourself as straight. And now he's running all over Facebook, he and acting all feminine again with a man. And then the funny part is he's acting the more feminine than one, from what I've been seeing.
Yeah. Well, y'all, this has been a great conversation.
This stuff hurts. It hurts people. I mean, it devastates people.
Yes, it does. It's essentially what you said earlier. You got to watch who you land down. You got to know who you land down with. You got to have a conversation. You got to talk. Also, in this same content, I was having this conversation. I said, no. Hey, me and my wife never broke up. We ever divorced. I said, I'm gonna find an ex-girlfriend. Cause you don't know what's what nowadays. I'm gonna find somebody I've been with already. I know got children, know had children, know that is a woman. Cause you can't tell no more. You can't tell no more.
I think on that note, Daryl, nothing close it out. God, so you don't
Go ahead and close it out. Go ahead and close it on out. Go ahead and close it out. Go ahead and close it out, Veronica. We gotta go. We gotta go.
I'm hoping it don't happen, but if it did, oh yeah. I'm calling one up. Somebody get a phone call. I'm gonna find a cousin. Hey, where your I believe you sleeping by yourself next day. Huh? Actually, the conversation was with my wife. Okay. Because we were talking about that when I think the conversation was about how Tyler Perry a lot of shows he do because she asked me what I think about the new shows he's putting out, how House of Pain and the Browns has changed. I said when I saw one episode. And I said, when I seen that, how it been remade and everybody on that cussing, it's okay with all these other new shows he done put out.
Mm-hmm.
After I went there, watched a second of none of it no more. Because it ain't got nothing to do with black folks today. It's all about drama. It's all about sex. It's all about homosexuality. I said, I can't support that. I can't get behind it. I have no interest in that. And she was like, what if we divorce? Who would you talk to? I said, oh, if I don't talk to or get remarried, I ain't talking about it. I said, but if I do get remarried, I'm calling up for it. I told her out. Cause as you talk tonight, a lot of folks, you can't tell no more. And so, like I said, when I'm standing there talking to what I thought, and know it before her husband walked up and let us know she was his wife, couldn't nobody else walk up to me and tell me, do you know you're talking to a woman? She had the voice of a man. She had the entire look of a man. You couldn't have told me, I don't care if you told me, I bet you it's $1 million in this suitcase, you talking to a woman. I took that bet. You know what? I would have lost that money too, talking about Wendy Williams, but they said she a woman. So
and to be honest, Wendy was pretty. Wendy was prettier when she was younger, and they say she had stuff done. So if she did,
yeah,
she was
much prettier. Up, cause I swear up and down. I could. You right, Mike. Cause I thought the same thing when I saw Wendy Williams. I saw Wendy Williams on Dancing with the Stars, and I said, well, look at them two dudes dancing together. My wife get mad at me every time. And I was
she was actually like nice looking. Like, I don't know, some people they change, they do this stuff done, but they look better before. Lil Kim looked better before. And, you know, nobody ever thought she looked like a man, but she did. She looked so much better when she was just Little Kim, her natural self before.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, Wendy Williams, she looked like that alien. She like she. I don't know if y'all ever seen that cartoon, American Dad. It got a little alien on there called Roger. She was just like Roger with a wig on.
My bad.
It's time to go now. It's time to go. It's time to go. Before they shut it down.
Bye, y'all.
All right, y'all.
I gotta be honest.
We'll see. We'll talk on Tuesday.
I'm not fooling with you. You're not giving me a no miss.
Y'all have a good weekend. And think about it. You never know sometime.
Nope. You never know. Hey, I don't walk down the road before. I didn't see that. Hey, before we get going, also the River Market this weekend,
there's gonna be a backpack giveaway to those who really need school supplies. I forgot exactly how many it's gonna be, but I know Greater Faith is sponsoring the backpack giveaway. It's gonna be at the River Market this weekend. I think from 11 to 2. I think that's the time it's gonna be going on. So anybody who's in need,
Don't
Bishop
be.
Evans said if you don't need the supplies, please don't come and get them because it's
That's
really
right.
and truly for the folks.
That's right.
Anybody doing haircuts that you know of? That you in the y'all know of?
I hadn't heard of any.
Actually, Greater Faith is having a youth. And I get these dates to y'all by Tuesday. But the first I want to say first 25 haircuts are free. So I'll get those dates to you also. They have a lot of stuff going on down there at Greater Faith. So don't forget about every Saturday from 10 to 11. They got the um, the aerobics classes. It's $10 admission entrance fee, and also you can drop the kids off in there. They'll uh, teach them. They're gonna have ACT prep going on as well. Also adult education. All this stuff coming up at Greater Faith. So I'll see if I can get Bishop Evans back on so he can tell you a little bit more about it. There's a lot of stuff going on down there that I think everybody should know about.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, y'all have a great, safe weekend. Be careful out there. Supposed to have some severe thunderstorm threats, I'm assuming. But y'all be careful and have a great weekend, and we'll talk on Tuesday.
All right, y'all have a good night. All right,
Y'all have a good night.
All right, y'all.